Say that one more time.
I said I like Coast East because they're proficient at their jobs and they never shot at me.
Yes.
We need a miracle.
What is going on, everybody? It's your girl Pam with 22 Taps. I have a really cool episode today, and honestly, I think you guys are going to enjoy it. A lot of what we do is we share stories of trauma, tragedy, all that craziness, or important stuff, I should say, but how people have been able to overcome it. But another cool thing about this platform is we give people opportunities to share their missions, their foundations, their charities, so that we give you guys more of an outlet on people who you guys can reach. So today, I'm joined by three really cool gentlemen. We were just kind of shooting the shit very quickly before I hit record. Believe it or not, I'm surrounded by two Marine Corps veterans and a Navy guy. And I'm not scared. We're going to just meet this head on. So I want to introduce to you guys, we've got Cameron, we've got Taylor, we've got Marc. They're all from the American Odysseus Sailing Foundation. I hope I didn't butcher Odysseus' name because I should know that. I learned about these guys from Logan with One Tribe Foundation this past summer. And I got to tell you, I love their mission. I love what they stand for. And I think what they're doing, or I know what they're doing, is going to help change a lot of lives. So without further ado, Cameron, Taylor, Marc, feel free to jump in, whoever wants to kind of help introduce themselves. And we'll just kind of go from there, piggyback off each other.
Okay. My name is Cameron. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I was an infantry officer for just shy of 12 years and deployed 4 combat deployments, 3 of those were to Iraq. And now I chase around kids and I teach history and I do the thing that's the most fun. I think the most important. I'm a part of American Odysseus Sailing Foundation.
Sweet.
And my partner in that is Taylor, and I guess we'll let him do his part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Taylor Greger. I was in the Navy. I was a rescue swimmer for 6 years. I was stationed out in Guam, so my tours were all in the Asian Pacific. Yeah. Then I got out and started sailing, and here we are. We started American Odysseus together. I actually met Cameron when I got back from my expedition to Cape Horn. And we both kind of had the same mission. We've seen a lot of our buddies commit suicide. And, you know, we kept putting it off and trying to wait for the right time to start this foundation. We were like, we're going to start with what we have. We're going to do it right now. So another one of my buddies killed himself last year. So, yeah, we started off with what we have. Now we're on a boat off the coast of Texas.
That's awesome. How about you, Marc?
Well, I am Marc. I did 8 years in the Marine Corps. I was stationed with Cameron. I was an LAV mechanic the entire time. Deployed to Iraq 04, 05. Oddly enough, I guess I'm kind of an enigma down here. I had never stepped foot on a sailboat till February, 10 months ago. Cameron, who I was stationed with back in the day, he was like, hey, come sailing. And I was like, sure. I'll go step on a boat, and had the obvious preconceived notions, but came down here, sailed for a weekend. Another guy we were stationed with, met Taylor. They gave me the whole rundown on what it is, what they're doing. And it was actually like the first time I'd been able to relax with no anxiety, no anger, just actually let everything go. So kind of just sold everything, packed up from Seattle and moved down here. So now it's I do whatever I can just to help out the nonprofit and help these guys out.
So I was talking to Cameron and I was like, man, maybe we can get some people that have stories that, find me people who have benefited from this. He's like, actually, we've all benefited from it. I'm like, well,
yeah.
Would you guys mind sharing a little bit of that? We don't have to take a deep dive into what happened, how it happened. We all know that we're all dealing with our own shit, but we're not alone. And we've lost people, loved ones, family members, you name it, to suicide. And just so y'all know, I was really close myself a few years back, and that's why we started this podcast, because people need to know they're not alone. So, Marc, if it's cool, I'd like to start with you just briefly, because you kind of started hitting on what I really wanted to talk about and why this mission is so important and why people need to know it's there.
Right on, yeah. So basically being able to get vets out on the water together. One, you get vets together, everybody relaxes, everybody's comfortable, and then a lot of things will come out that they won't tell anybody else about. So that in itself right there is therapeutic, but then you throw in the sailing aspect, and now you got the adventure therapy of it. So not only are you out doing something with people you can relate to, but you're also working as a team again. And then you got that camaraderie you used to have in the military that you can't find in the civilian world. And just the overall, I don't know, I guess a sense of well-being, if you will, just relaxing, letting everything go, getting out, getting away from the daily grind. You get a chance to reset. And now you're also networking with more vets. So now you got a bigger support network. And it just kind of snowballs from there. Like moving to Texas, I didn't know anybody except for Taylor and Cameron. Through this, I've met a ton of different vets. Now I'm getting out more. I go help volunteer places. We actually got boats donated to us. So I've been working on getting these cleaned up, helping flip them so we can get some more funds coming in for AMOD and boat parts since we break Cameron's boat quite a bit. Not my fault. But yeah,
that's true. I think all the broken boat stuff is actually most of that's me. So
So I guess you can say we've all kind of seen that the camaraderie, that's a big thing that's missing when we get out. I mean, I know when I got out, it was just like, my transition sucked. It just absolutely blew. 1 minute I'm wearing uniform, the next minute I'm not. And it's like, where are these people at? And when you find your tribe, just hang on to them. And I'm glad you guys found each other. Taylor, I'd love to kind of switch gears with you since you were a Navy rescue swimmer. And what people don't know is rescue swimmers are a special breed. You got to be a little crazy to do that, like in a good way. I trained alongside with a lot of Coast Guard rescue swimmers. They're freaking nuts, freaking natures, and respect the hell out of them and why you guys do what you do. It's just, thank you, dude. Like it's just one of those jobs you can't really explain it. You just got to watch. And thank you. So I just wanted to, yeah, absolutely. I just want to put that out there. And I also want to kind of get a feel for where you were at, the headspace you were at before you met Cameron, how you guys collaborated and what you've seen so far since this collaboration started.
Yeah, whenever I got back to States, I was a mess. I didn't want to live in this world anymore. I hated it. I hated everything about it. All I saw was this dark place we're living in. I didn't see a reason why to keep staying here. I don't know. I think a lot of that just goes into, what we're doing now with adventure therapy. It's kind of like my light switch that flipped for me and why we do what we do. I had no idea the physical changes that happen to your body whenever you operate at a tempo, go on deployments 9, 13 months every single year for 6 years, that changes you on a physiological level. Your hippocampus actually shrinks from the amount of cortisol and adrenaline being released on a day-to-day basis. And it's not necessarily exclusive to people that operate or I can speak about the rescue swimmer community. Even when you're working on a flight deck on an aircraft carrier, every day you're up there, you think you're going to die. You're constantly looking out for a rotor trying to take your head off or aircraft trying to run you over. So when you live in an environment where you think you're going to die every single day, that changes your brain. And I didn't know that. So when I got back and I had my issues, my adrenaline started running away from me for no reason. I thought like I wasn't strong enough to handle it. And it wasn't until Steven, the guy I went on this expedition with, he was the first person that told me he had his PhD in veterans return back to the States and the physiological effects that happens. He actually wrote a book about it. He was the first person that said, your body and your mind's changed. And I was like, what are you talking about, dude? And he was the first person to tell me how and why. And I was like, oh, this is a physical thing. It's not that I'm not strong enough. It's that I don't understand it. And I don't understand how to get better. So once he told me how my body changed, I was like, all right, well, we'll just work to get it better. And that's where we do adventure therapy. So with adventure therapy, you get guys out and in an environment where your adrenaline runs, but instead of cortisol running, thinking you're going to die and you're stressed out, your endorphins are running. And that's been proven to regrow your hippocampus. And that in turn allows your body to deal with those random adrenaline rushes you get, or your emotions, your fight or flight reaction, right? So it makes PTSD a whole lot more manageable when you participate in adventure therapy groups and you're in an environment where you're like, oh, this is kick ass, this is really freaking cool. I'm seeing part of the world that I like again. It gives you a reason to want to keep on living. So that's kind of my story and why we do what we do here.
So you guys connected with Cameron after your expedition, you said?
Yeah, Cameron reached out to our producer, and our producer's name is Shane. Shane sent me his email. I was like, hell yeah, dude, let's link up, because I've been doing it for years. And like Cameron will tell you, if you try and do something like this on your own, it's pretty difficult. So he told me he was trying to start exactly what I was trying to do, start an adventure therapy sailing program here in Texas. And it was love at first email. We just kicked it off. Yeah, and he can talk a little bit more about that process. It wasn't really smooth, but now we have a good boat, thanks to Cameron and his family, and keep it down to Kima. And this last year, we took out 56 guys on the water.
Oh, wow.
We finished the year off. Yeah, we finished the year off in the Harvest Moon Regatta. It's a race from Galveston to Corpus Christi, and we had guys from all over the states. We had a guy from New York, Marc's from Washington, a guy from Oklahoma, and then a couple more guys from Texas, and all branches too. We didn't have any coasties on that sail though.
Yo, I might be your first one. I'm planning on it. Dude, that's incredible.
I think we've only had one Air Force person come out.
They're too busy living the dream, dude. 5-star hotels. Whatever, dude. Cool.
I like what you said about love at first email. I think my wife would agree that email is where I look my best. So that's where I'm sexy.
He's got autocorrect. That's why. That's awesome, dude. So 56 people this year alone. I didn't even know that. I don't think Cameron, I don't think we even got that deep into our conversation the other week. That's incredible. That is really cool.
It's 56 people with one boat. With us having to work around, everything from Snowmageddon, which, as kicked the crap out of everyone in Texas. And I think it was worse for people down in the Houston area because, even though the weather itself wasn't as bad down there, I think people down there was more traumatic. Like they thought, the age of Ragnarok had come or some crazy shit like that. So that shut everything down for about a month. And then, and we still managed to do something out of it. And we had guys like Marc who are now part of the team, and that's been a huge help. It's been challenging for Taylor and I. We both have small, feral little girls that we have to chase around the house on a daily basis. And so, with all these challenges, we've been able to get out there and get a lot done this year. We're really looking forward to what we can do next year. What we've been doing is really making the most out of what we have. We have the boat we have. It is better for what we were doing than the last boat that we had, which that's the one that one got struck by lightning while I was on it. So this boat is definitely better for that. But I think for the things that we ultimately want to be able to accomplish, we like having that presence locally, being able to take people on these short-term day trips, the short weekend trips, because it's easier to get people to sign up for that. Vets today, vets of our generation, they're younger, they have families, they have jobs, they have careers, they have obligations. A lot of them can't afford to just drop everything and go sail around Cape Horn, but or they don't know if they're or if they're going to get seasick. And Marc will tell you about that. But
Marc, I feel your pain, dude. I feel your pain.
Yep.
These shorter duration trips are ways to engage a lot of people and then also to find the people who might be willing to go that, take that next step. And that next step is what we need to get to. and being able to support these longer duration trips, these bigger offshore passages, and eventually, get a boat down to Patagonia again, or to someplace like, the Solomon Islands, go to Guadalcanal. That's the place I've always wanted to go, or across the Atlantic. So, we've got big dreams, we've got big ambitions, and, we're just kind of taking it one trip at a time.
It'll happen. I promise you it'll happen. I do kind of want to hit on your background a little bit, Cameron. So you were a major,
Sure.
or you retired major from the Marine Corps.
That's correct, but I wasn't a very good one.
Yeah,
So,
that's where I was going, because I heard that you were a better captain than a
yes,
major.
I was a better captain than the major. Captains are cool. You know what I like about being a captain is in the Marine Corps, because you spend a long time as a captain, like anywhere from 5 to 6 years, right?
Mm.
So no one knows whether you've been a captain for 5 minutes or for 5 years. And so you sort of have, so you're kind of legit until you prove that you're not. But, right off the bat, you get a little bit of respect. And you can still spend time with the guys. You get out there and you do cool stuff. Major, you're a staff guy. You're cleaning somebody else's laundry.
So is that equivalent to an E5 in an enlisted world? Because the E5 was pretty legit, kind of like what you're talking about, where you're still one of the guys, but you have responsibilities now and paperwork, but you don't have to be the person doing all the paperwork. You can still have fun.
Kind of ask Mark. I always felt like sergeant was sort of that equivalent, because you get some respect, but you can still get out and get your hands dirty and do cool stuff. And the minute you pick up staff sergeant, you're at the bottom of the staff and CO ranks, and so you're getting all their crap. But you can't really kick it with the boys like a sergeant or corporal can. Does that sound about right, Mark?
I'd say that's exactly right. Out of the enlisted rank, sergeant's the best. Because you do have the responsibility to tell people what to do, but like he's saying, you also get in there. If something was broke and my guys needed help, I'd jump in and help. Or I could just be like, hey, go change the tire. I don't feel like doing it. It's your job anyway. But then you can still yell at people and, have all the fun. So it's like having your cake and eating it too. But like you're saying, once you pick up E6, staff sergeant, now you're at the staff NCOs, you're up in the next freaking, grouping to where, hey, you're back at the bottom of the barrel. You're starting over. Mm-hmm. Go do something stupid. Roger that, Gunny. Yeah, I'm good. I was happy my last 4.5 being a sergeant. So
Same.
It actually worked out in my favor.
Okay. That way, I just wanted to, because what you were saying, Cameron, I'm like, I know that feeling quite well. And I sat on E5 for a long time before I got out. That's why I was like, oh, I get you. I totally get you.
Yeah, I think I did one legit major's job before I got out, and then the last year of service was really dealing with medical stuff in hospitals and the med board process, which the Marine Corps and the Navy were kind enough to make as miserable as humanly possible, and I wasn't helping myself. I was not in good shape, and I was that way after I got out, because I was a soup sandwich for a long time. Not high on the functionality scale. Didn't have that much blood in my alcohol stream, so I was not doing well. But when I got out, I got out of the hospital. I got retired from the Marine Corps the same day. My ex had filed for separation about a month before that, and so I had no place to live. And so I walked around and looked for apartments, and that was depressing. And I said, "The hell with this! I got a sailboat and a puppy." That was kind of where it started for me. I realized pretty quickly that this is something that could help people. But back then, this is 10 years ago, I wasn't in the position to make that happen, make something like this happen back then. I didn't have my shit together, and it took me some time and some work to get to the point where then I could let sailing kind of be that next step. And once I got to that point, my sailing adventures weren't near as epic as Taylor's. It was a lot more like a Jimmy Buffett song than it was, like a Herman Melville story. But it was, it was the thing I needed. It gave me that space and that separation. There's an analogy that I like to use, and I think this is more specific to combat vets or maybe people who've been in very high intensity environments like a rescue swimmer. And for those who don't know, Marc there is a legit combat vet. In the light armor community, we like to make sure everyone has a chance to get shot at. So, I mean, we hooked him up. And, but with a combat vet, you know, if you ever get an eye exam and they dilate your pupils, then you have to wear sunglasses all day. They do that because your optic nerve is going to get overwhelmed by the amount of light that your eye is letting in. You know, your eye's dilated, and in a way, coming home is a lot like that, but with all of your senses all of the time. And part of that's because we're trained that way. We're trained to be hyper vigilant, to be hyper aware, to pay attention to detail, and to constantly scan. And what are we scanning for? We're scanning for danger. We're scanning for threats. We're scanning for things that need to be eliminated or engaged or countered. And, you know, in my line of work, it was mostly people. And so now you go to someplace like, you know, Walmart or, you know, the grocery store, and you get all these weird rando people that are just kind of wandering around bumping into each other. And what that does is it sets you off. It sets off your fight or flight response. But that fight or flight response has been reprogrammed. So that, you know, flight has sort of been deleted from the base code. And now you're just really angry and really on edge all the time. And it's an exhausting way to live. And what I felt was being on a boat was a way to get that separation from all this sensory clutter. You know, this thing that I'd been taught to be was not working well for me in regular society. But I got on the boat and all of a sudden it could be useful again. Because when you're hanging out on a boat, especially if you're sailing, especially if you're by yourself or you're with a crew, you want that hypervigilance. You want to be aware. It's now a benefit again. And it gives you time and space to, you know, figure out how to engage people in a healthy way. Because you can get on a boat and you can sail for a while, but at some point you're gonna have to deal with people again.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people aren't going to be vets, and a lot of them aren't going to care that you were a vet. They're just trying to do business, whether it's sell diesel fuel or fix boats or do whatever it is they do. So, and that's what I got out of it. I think that's part of what I'm trying to share with others by teaming up with Taylor and bringing Marc on board and doing what it is we do.
So how many boats do you have in the fleet, and what sizes are they? I'm just curious so far.
Right now we have one that we sail regularly. And a lot of that has to do with what you can manage, you know, like honestly, if somebody were to come down from on high and give us a brand spanking new boat, that might be more harmful than good to us right now, because you have to have the money to insure it, to dock it, to maintain it, to keep it running, to do all that kind of stuff. And so having more than one boat wouldn't necessarily be a help right now. We do have a local charter company that's offered to partner with us and maybe let us use their boats to sort of increase our fleet size without taking on any additional financial responsibility. For right now, we have our boat. It's a 44-foot boat. It was designed as a boat for offshore racing. It's actually what's called a racer cruiser, which means the cruiser part means that you can travel on and it's comfortable enough, and you've got enough bunks and a full kitchen and galley that everybody can be comfortable. And the racer part means that it's a hell of a lot of fun to sail. And it goes fast. So at least by 16-year-old boat standards, it's a fast boat.
Geez. So I want to get back to Marc real quick, because I kind of caught what they were picking on you about. But you getting seasick, man, what happened there? I'm just curious for my own, because I don't wish that upon my worst enemy, just so y'all know. It's miserable.
It was actually pretty funny. Like, from the outside looking in and looking back on it, like, we'd sailed around Galveston Bay, and like, I'd gotten seasick in the past, but it was on the month-long trip that we took from California to Iraq. But I got sick for like 2 days and I was fine. And then sailing around Galveston Bay and everything else, like, you know, no big deal, whatever. So we leave Galveston Bay, get out in the Gulf, and hit this, I guess you'd call it a squall, decent little storm. And I was not ready for it. And it just kind of knocked me on my ass, and I ended up puking over both sides of the boat.
You were chumming?
Oh, yeah, I was chumming for sharks.
God.
I had to make sure I got all the corners covered. But since I have learned, you know, there's different tips and tricks, like drink a hell of a lot more water, take some Dramamine, eat some food, quit drinking so much coffee, caffeine. And there's stuff like that helps me out still. But yeah, that one, it wasn't the funnest, but hindsight's 2020, and looking back, it is actually really funny to think about.
Did anybody pull out their cameras or laugh at you when you were doing it?
Oh, everybody laughed.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sure.
There you go.
I would think Taylor and Cameron would have got pictures if the seas weren't as bad, or if they weren't trying to more tend towards the boat. So
That's fair. There was laughing, yeah, but we were trying to keep the boat afloat at that point.
Dude, that's prime example of camaraderie that we miss right there, guys. So civilians, if you have that, hang on to it. Civilians, if you don't get that, or anybody that doesn't get that humor, sorry, dude. It's just how it is.
exactly.
So let me ask Taylor. I got to ask you this, just because you're a Navy rescue swimmer, and I know this is what I deal with when I'm on the water. So I'm just kind of curious if this is what you deal with. And guys, we'll circle back around to your nonprofit here shortly, but I'm just really curious about this. When you're ever on your boat, do you ever get so hyper vigilant that it kind of freaks you out? Like, holy shit, like I'm waiting for the shoe to drop, or do I have to go out, or somebody in the water? Like, does it ever take you back? Because I know, but then again, you jumped out of helicopters. I was on boats, so I did search and rescue on the boat side. So I don't know if that has a difference. But I have my moments. That's kind of why I'm asking that.
Not as bad as I used to. When I first got back to the States, I've got a bunch of little cousins and stuff. We go to the beach a lot, and that would freak me out because I had a couple rescues with kids that didn't go so well. And I couldn't even enjoy myself because I'd be watching them in the water the entire time, you know? Now I've kind of chilled out. I obviously still think about it all the time when I'm on the water. And part of that kind of works against me because I'll be out there and I'll see somebody get hurt. I'm like, they're good. Everybody else will kind of freak out and you're like, no, body's still got a lot more to go before it breaks. They're fine. I think in that respect, that one gets me in trouble more than kind of freaking out about people in the water.
So there's,
yeah, obviously I do, but I think I don't know. I think it's kind of like Batman. You know how Batman was scared of bats and he just surrounded himself with bats all the time? It's like the same thing. I'm just around water and people all the time, so it kind of works for me.
But you find a sense of calm being with the crew on the sailboats, just relaxing, right?
Yeah, for sure. You know what? That's a good way to put it. So whenever I sail with people who haven't sailed before, like families will hire me to sail their boat back from another country or something. And sometimes they'll sail with me. And if they've never sailed before, like I can't sleep because I'm just down below deck thinking about them falling overboard or something going wrong. I hate it. I don't enjoy it at all. I stress the entire time I'm sailing because I care about them, you know. But whenever I'm out with a bunch of veterans, it's freaking cool because I'm like, most of these dudes have either been blown up or beat up before. So if they get hit by something on the boat or if they fall over, I know they can make it for a while. Then it's a lot more relaxing with me to sail with people I know that have taken a beating before.
I'm glad you put it that way because I feel like I can relate in a sense when it comes to that. And I never thought of that because when I'm around a bunch of veterans or people like coasties, for instance, I really don't care if they're gonna fall overboard or not. Like they can figure this shit out. They've been trained.
Right.
You're good. Get me a little kid. Get me a woman who can't swim. My little, I get a little paranoid sometimes.
Yeah. You can't enjoy yourself at all.
No, and I've had to work on that because I'm tired of it. I love the ocean, but it's like, dude, there's parts of it that scare the shit out of me. So, thank you for answering that. I was just really curious because I'm like, I feel like I'm not alone in this, but to hear validation, I guess, that I'm not alone. There's somebody else out there that needed to hear that. So thank you. Sure. But getting back to the nonprofit. So what all are y'all needing at this moment to help, not to maybe sustain it, I don't know, but to help improve it, to help grow, to help thrive as a nonprofit? What all are you looking for? What all are you needing? How can we help push this episode out even further to people that Mike could help? Anybody can jump in.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll start and Cameron, you can finish it off. But so, I mean, we need funds. It's community based. And and I've seen this. We've done a lot of screenings for our documentary that came out, right? And we work with a whole lot of adventure therapy nonprofits around the country. And the nonprofits that work are communities that support them. And these nonprofits that have started are out of a need because there's so many veteran suicides in their communities. Some of their guys were like, screw this, dude. We're going to do something about it. We're not going to wait for the government to try and fix this problem. We're going to do it ourselves. So it's the same thing down here that we've done. This problem has grown and touched all of us to the point where we're like, we're going to sacrifice everything to make sure nobody else kills themselves. So we started this nonprofit. And in order to keep doing that, we need help. We need the community's help. That's the biggest thing. If we have funds to keep guys coming out on the water, each person we bring out on the waters is about $800. That's food and travel and then repairs for the boat. We don't take a dime of that. That just goes to getting guys out. And I mean, that's what we need, and when people say they want to help, they have a job, they can't get down to come work on the boat. If you could donate, we can do it. It really is that easy. And that's how it works, because it's not the government taking care of our people when they come home. It's us. It's our communities that take care of ourselves when we come home. So yeah, if we can get this community to rally around this nonprofit, around AMOD, then we can keep taking care of our guys when they get back.
I think community support is critical. We don't have that. We don't keep going. And the sad thing, and no one wants to talk about money. I know that when Taylor and I separately and together, when we first started talking about this, none of us want to talk about money, but unfortunately boats ain't cheap. And keeping them on the water is a challenge. It takes a lot of sweat, which we're happy to do. We enjoy that most of the time. It takes time, and it takes money. And, a lot of that right now has come from individual supporters, individual donors. We've had a few companies that have stepped up and helped us out here and there. I think the other component that we really need is grants. Well, let's say two components: grants and corporate sponsors and supporters. And so in that's something that anybody can help with. That's something that your viewers could help with, because, people are more likely to be a sponsor if they see that you have a wide reach. And so the more people who followed us on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is, we put up content of what we do, the more likely it is that we might find sponsors, little things like that. The other benefit that has is, and they can find us on those platforms and on Facebook at AMOD Sailing. That's it, AMOD Sailing. We try to keep it simple. The other thing that does, sharing that kind of stuff is it's free. All it takes is a few minutes, and it also spreads our message to people out there who might need it. The other thing that we want to do is let people out there know that there's an option, there's an alternative. I think we help some people, not by having them sail with us, but by them seeing what we do and looking for their own thing, whether it's sailing or, riding horses or basket weaving or, making flautas, who the hell knows, whatever works for you, but just doing something that, gets you out there, gets you off the couch, gets you doing something productive, gets you engaged with people in a healthy way. I think those are the benefits to helping get our message out there. Is it makes us that much more attractive to companies that might want to sponsor us, because for them it's going to be about return. If for a company to want to sponsor us, they have to know that it's going to help them sell whatever it is they sell. But for people who might see us, we want them to know that you're not alone, and that there's other things that you can do in this life that aren't dependent on serving in the military.
It's awesome. Mark, you got anything to add on to that, or they pretty much hit the nail on the head on that?
Yeah, they pretty much nailed everything on it. Having time, well, especially for those two, they're stay-at-home dads and do a bunch of other stuff where they can't focus on this 100% of the time without juggling a million other things they got going on. So the extra help's always nice. Like they said, it boils down to funding. Mm-hmm. If we can't afford to fix the boat or get the vets out, then, we're not doing anything really.
So it sounds like volunteers as well could definitely help. I don't know if you have a boatyard you're putting the boat in or not, but at least kind of with preventative maintenance or just out and stuff.
What we're talking about doing is the problem is sometimes a lot of the stuff we need is very niche and very skilled, and we try to do as much of it as we can. We're talking about maybe in the spring having, there's a bunch of people who've sailed with us, maybe having a party where we have it be a barbecue / boat work day. We ask our supporters to come out and help us with some stuff, and then feed them on the back end of that. But a lot of the stuff that you're going to need on a boat is going to be very niche skilled labor stuff, like fixing canvas or repairing sails, which actually Marc did, or Taylor did a really good job on the last sail that we blew up. So give you an idea, a new sail can cost anywhere between $5,000 and $8,000. So being able to fix one is kind of a bonus. Installing electronics, which Marc and I got to do on one weekend. That was entertaining. But some problems can only be fixed with that kind of skilled labor. The areas where we could use volunteer help are things like photographers, videographers, people who can edit video, people who are good at social media marketing. People who can make a website look better than Taylor and I have managed to make it look, because I'm sure it could be better. There's a whole lot of stuff in this world that I know that I'm not good at. It doesn't stop me from doing it, but I know I'm not the right guy for the job. So, in certain critical areas, we can definitely use help in doing that kind of stuff.
Well, I've got a lot of connections for you on that. I'm sure we could figure something out. Like all around.
That's the cool thing about having fiberglass boats instead of steel boats, like you probably had in the Coast Guard or in the Navy, is that there's not a whole lot of rust to bust. So the whole chiseling off paint and then grinding it down and repainting it again, you don't have to do that as much on a fiberglass boat. So
it is a rite of passage. So I've been thinking about putting some more brass on Athena so we can have the new guys polish it all day long.
Never dull. Get them to sponsor y'all.
We need a big old brass bell on the mast for somebody to polish all the time.
Yeah, I don't miss needle gunning the bilge and priming and painting that crap. I don't miss that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, stuff's nuts. Well, cool. We don't really have to take this terribly long. I know we got a lot of stuff going on today, but I just want to make sure we get the meat and potatoes of everything that we wanted to talk about. I'm going to actually open up the floor if there's anything any of y'all want to really put out there, like, yo, we need this, or hey, I think somebody needs to hear this. Feel free. Otherwise, we can wrap it up pretty soon. I love that each and every one of you have a story. Each and every one of you have been there. You've seen it. It's kind of like dancing with the devil, right? It's just this, you don't have to do that alone. And that's what I love about you guys. And believe it or not, up here in DFW, I don't know if, I think Cameron, you're the only one close to us here in DFW, right? Okay.
That's right.
So DFW has one of the biggest populations of veterans in the state of Texas. And not only that, but our nonprofits up here are some of the best, I believe, in the world for veterans, first responders, our families, kids, and so forth. So the fact that y'all are connecting with us here and that we have like Lauren or Logan with One Tribe, or me, I'm connected with ATF, One Tribe, and all these other nonprofits, and whoever you guys are connected with, like we're planting the seeds, and that's what matters. And I feel with your mission and purpose and success stories, just by you three gentlemen alone, this thing's going to go big. And I'm hopeful for you guys. I really am. We need more of y'all out there for sure. And like you said, Taylor, we can't wait on the government. We got to do it ourselves.
All right.
We really do. We got to take care of each other. And although our stories are different, pain's very much the same. Traumas are, it's just not alone. So,
yeah.
Is there anything else y'all wanted to add before we kind of wrap up here?
No, I think we covered it pretty well. If anybody else wants to see what we do or help out, they can go to amodsailing.org. And we also have a documentary out. It's called Hell or High Seas that kind of talks about adventure therapy. And if you're dealing with a lot of what we went through, we talk about it extensively there. That's pretty much it.
Where can people find that documentary?
That's on iTunes and Google, YouTube, anywhere you can rent videos on demand.
Awesome. Well, with that, also, where can people find you guys more specifically? Where's the boat located? Or do you just want to just push them onto your social media platforms?
Yeah, you can check out the website, amodsailing.org, and our boat is in Kemah, so south of Houston. That's where we sail out of.
Very cool. Well, all right, guys. I really appreciate all three of y'all taking the time out of your day to jump on here and shoot the shit and really convey your hearts for this mission. And you got a lifelong friend here, y'all. So y'all can email me, text me, Cameron. You got mine, or y'all have my number through the emails and stuff. I want to get down there to actually meet y'all in person.
Yeah, you need to come stay with us. I was just about to tell you.
I
Same
will.
thing.
And Mark, I will be.
I'll bring Dramamine for you.
Dude, Dramamine doesn't do anything for me, man.
Right,
you just gotta.
Don't worry.
You just gotta puke and keep going. It's kind of bad, dude. Like nothing works. I've had a cell phone in my face. Thank God, cell phones they weren't that good when I was in. It was all flip phones. Thank God. But I've had a cell phone in my face when I was about to chum. I'm like, this is not good.
Yep.
But yeah, and I'll leave.
That'll make a good shirt. You just gotta puke and keep on going.
What's that?
That'll make a good shirt. You just gotta puke and keep on going.
That, dude, if you
That's
make
a good mantra for life.
if you make that for your foundation, I will happily donate for a shirt. I would absolutely, because I mean that was our job. You had to puke and keep on going.
I'll take a look and see how many of those with it you could sell.
You probably get a good, especially out there in Kemah. I'm pretty sure you get a good crowd rallying around that.
Yeah.
And it'll help with your foundation too. So why not, right? But yeah, let me see how many guys I can get out for a trip. Let's plan something. I've got a lot of adaptive athlete friends of mine. I know you said you guys aren't, the platform's not ready for people technically in wheelchairs and all that stuff, but we have a lot of good able-bodied adaptive athletes that would be willing to go out there. I'm sure we can just go have some fun.
Pirates had hooks and peg legs.
That's what I'm saying. It's like pirates had pig legs. If they can do it, anybody can do it. But anyhow, all right, guys. Well, again, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to sign off with my viewers. Hang tight. Don't hang up just yet. I'm just going to sign off with my viewers. But guys, yeah, if you know where to find them, amodsailing.org, correct? amodsailing.org.
That's correct.
Yeah, go give these guys a shout. Go give them some love. Social media, Instagram, Facebook, online. Tell them I sent you. And be ready because we got some really cool guests coming up still. And we will talk soon. So peace out.